Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Patrychia, and today I would like to present a research study entitled Gen Z English Language Student Attitude Towards Reading. This study was conducted by Sakila Aziz, Zara Aisyah Rusyarti, Mika Septiani Bersambiring, Putri Patrychia and Gatot Subroto from Universitas Maritim Raja Ali Haji, Indonesia. Reading is one of the most fundamental skills in English language learning. However, in the digital era, reading habits and attitude have changed significantly, especially among Generation Z students. This presentation will discuss how Gen Z English language students perceive reading, what motivates them, and what challenges they face when reading English texts. Reading plays a crucial role in English as a foreign language or EFL learning. Through reading, student development vocabulary, grammatical awareness, comprehension skills, and critical thinking. For EFL learners, reading is not only an academic requirement, but also a gateway to global knowledge and communication. Generation Z, generally defined as individuals born between the mid 1990 and early 2010s, has grown up surrounded by digital technology, smartphones, social media, and instant access to information shape how they learn and interact with text. As a result, their reading behavior differ from those of previous generation. Several studies have shown that Gen Z students tend to prepare short, digital, and visual engaging text rather than long printed materials. While digital reading increases access to English content, it may also encourage surface level readings and reduce deep comprehension. This situation raises important questions for educators, particularly in AFL contexts such as Indonesia. Despite many students on digital literacy and reading habits, there is still limited research focusing specifically on Gen Z English language students' attitude toward reading in Indonesian universities. Understanding this attitude is essential for designing effective reading instruction that matches students' needs and learning style. Based on this issue, the study was guided by two main research questions. First, when are the attitudes of Gen Z students toward reading activities in English learning? Second, what factors influence Gen Z students' attitudes towards reading English texts? Accordingly, the objectives of the study were: first, to describe Gen Z students' attitude towards reading in English. Second, to identify the factors that shape or influence these attitudes. This study employed a quantitative research design, which allows attitudes to be measured numerically and analyzed objectively. The participants were 51 English language students from Universitas Maritim Raja Ali Haji, all of whom belong to Generation Z. The students were selected using convenience sampling as they were easily accessible and represented the target population. Data were collected using a 10-item Likert scale questionnaire distributed online via Google Forms. These methods align well with Gen Z students' familiarity with digital platforms. Each item was rated on a 5-point scale ranging from strongly disagree to strongly agree. The questionnaire was developed based on established theories of reading motivation and attitude, including Gardner and Lambert's motivations theory and Yamashita reading attitudes framework. To ensure validity, the instrument was reviewed by English education lecturers and pilot tests before distribution. The data were analyzed using descriptive statistics such as mean scores and percentages. This analysis aims to identify general trends in students' reading attitudes and the factors influencing them. Antithetical consideration were also observed. Participation was voluntary, no personal data were collected, and confidently was maintained throughout the study. The findings of the study are divided into two main parts. First, Gen Z students' attitudes toward reading activities in English learning. Second, factors influencing those attitudes. Overall, the results show that students hold generally positive attitudes toward reading in English, although certain challenges and preferences remain. The results indicate that Gen Z English language students generally enjoy reading English materials, especially when the content is interesting and relevant to their lives. Students agreed that reading helped them improve their communication skills and achieve better academic performance. One of the stronger findings is that students believe reading in English is important for their future, including career opportunities and personal development. This reflects strong instrumental motivation, meaning students read English for practical and long term goals. At the same time, enjoyment plays a significant role. Students reported that they read more frequently when topics match their personal interests. This suggests the presence of intrinsic motivation where reading is driven by curiosity and enjoyment rather than obligation. Confidence also emerged as an important factor. Many students felt more confident in understanding English text after practicing reading regularly. This aligns with self-efficacy theory, which emphasizes the role of confidence in sustaining learning behavior. However, students show neutral preferences regarding digital versus printed reading materials. While they frequently read English content on social media and online platforms, they did not completely reject printed text. This suggests that Gen Z students are flexible readers who value both format depending on purpose and context. Several factors were identified as influencing Gen Z students' attitude toward reading English text. The first major factor is perceived usefulness. Students strongly believe that reading English help them succeed academically and prepare for the future. This sense of usefulness motivates them to engage with reading activities even when texts are challenging. The second factor is personal interest. When reading material relate to students' hobbies, experience, or current issues, their motivation and engagement increase significantly. Interest-driven reading encourages deeper comprehension and sustained attention. The third factor involves digital habits. Gen Z students are highly exposed to English text through digital media, especially social media. While digital platforms increase access and convenience, they can also cause distraction and shallow reading if not managed properly. Another important factor is reading difficulty. Some students reported avoiding reading English text because of difficult vocabulary or complex grammar. This challenge can lower motivation and increase anxiety. Therefore, appropriate text selection and instructional scaffolding are essential. Finally, peer influence appeared to play a neutral role. Most students view reading as an individual activity rather than a social one. However, previous research suggests the collaborative reading activities could enhance motivation if implemented effectively. The findings suggest several important implications for English language teaching. First, teachers should integrate interest-based and authentic reading materials that reflect students' lives and global issues. Allowing students to choose reading topics can enhance intrinsic motivation. Second, educators should balance digital and printed reading resources. Digital text over accessibility, while printed materials support deeper concentration and comprehension. Third, teachers need to provide scaffolding strategies such as vocabulary reviews, guided questions, and reflective activities to reduce reading difficulty and anxiety. Finally, incorporating collaborative reading activities such as group discussion or online forums can introduce a social dimension to reading and increase engagement. In conclusion, the study reveals that Generation Z English language students generally hold positive attitudes toward reading. They recognize reading as an important skill for academic success, personal growth, and future careers. Their motivation is shaped by both intrinsic enjoyment and instrumental goals. However, challenges remain, including reading difficulty, digital distraction, and inconsistent engagement. Factors such as perceived usefulness, personal interest, digital literacy, confidence, and learning environment interact dynamically to shape students' reading attitudes. Therefore, effective reading instruction for Gen Z students should be learner-centered, flexible, and balanced, integrating technology with guided comprehension strategies. By understanding students' attitudes and preferences, educators can foster a stronger reading culture and help students develop reading as a lifelong habit. Alright, that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.